Hey guys and gals, I got another one for you today. Today I am in my STB1 on Pacific Island Typhoon variant. I've had this one saved up for a little while, and I wanted to use this one today because I've talked about being more positive, staying open-minded about different player types, things like that. And this one hits home for me just because the STB1 was, I think, my second or third tier 10 medium tank. This weather variant is very disliked by the player base, whether it's typhoon, blizzard, or sandstorm. And then also Pacific Island is arguably not a tier 10 map, or shouldn't be a tier 10 map. So that's argued about as well. Jumping right in, we got the STB1 on this tiny little map, which there's generally like a big 1-2-3 push, and then the other side is a good flanking side, but you have to hold the 1-2-3 to be able to win this map easily. When I give my map suggestions, obviously I'm just letting you know the way that I think is the best way to win the map. Just from my experience, I've logged a lot of games, and one of the things that I know that I've gotten good at is paying attention to how the map develops. It's probably one of the hardest things to learn and do as a new player, is paying attention to your mini-map, but being able to see how the games develop on each map are something that I've come accustomed to, and after like trying different things, I've come to realize that there's just like certain patterns that I see that generally win the game. It'd be cool to see actual stats on how where people go is the best way to win, if that was actually a thing, so I could compare my thoughts to that and see if I'm actually giving you guys good advice, even though I do still think that I do give you guys good advice. But just to be able to fact check it would be pretty cool. Anyways, getting off track. So, weather variant, it adds another element to the game. I'm going to compare this video a lot to ice cream flavors, and to me, it all depends on your style of tanks that you like to play, your style of gameplay that you play. And if you're a heavy tank game player, you probably don't like the weather variants because they really work with tanks that can exploit it with concealment. And if you're a heavy tank player, obviously that's not going to be the best bet. Also, if you're a tank destroyer that likes to hide in the back on safe ridge lines, well, unfortunately, scouts are going to be able to get in a little bit closer to spot you for the rest of their team. So I think the hate for the weather variants really comes from people not understanding the vision aspects of the game, which took me a long time to figure that out as well. But people don't understand how they're getting shot because they can't see the tank that's spotting them. In this variant, scouts can walk around freely, so you're at the mercy of your scouts and or mediums getting vision out and spotting for your team. STB1, one of my first tanks that I ever got for tier 10 mediums, and I thought it was a good tank, but I compared that to the T62A, which I never see on the battlefield much anymore, because there's Russian mediums that are just better than it. And then the E50M, which it was a good tank, or is a good tank, just for a new player that didn't really know what the hell he was doing and just wanted to ram everything. It wasn't that great of a tank. So to get a mobile medium tank with good vision to camo and great gun depression, this thing felt like it was amazing. Then it got nerfed in 4.6, and they've built back the nerfs. I don't know if they completely took all the nerfs back. I've even heard that it got buffed more than what it was before 4.6, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So anyone that does know that, feel free to comment below. But then when I went back to this, because I kind of stayed away from it and the 30B after it got nerfed in 4.6, it just didn't feel like the tank I remembered. However, at this point, now thinking about it, I've come to realize that I had a lot more mediums and I became a better player. So this tank at first was one of the best medium tanks I'd ever owned because I didn't have much to compare it to, nor was I experienced enough to know if it was good or not. But for my play style at that time, this thing was godlike. Then I get different medium tanks that work better for my now play style, and the accuracy on this just does not make up for the gun depression that it has over other medium tanks, in my opinion. Um, Still think it can be a competitive tank. I just think missed shots are one of the reasons why I don't like it, and talked about previously in my UDES video of DPM versus effective DPM, and even though this thing has good DPM, it doesn't land its shots all the time, which makes it ineffective DPM. Alright, so how do you rank this in the ice cream factor? Well, I mean, if this was Neapolitan, my least favorite is strawberry, but I'll still enjoy it because it's ice cream, and I do like strawberries, but just strawberry ice cream is not my favorite. So I just think of this thing, if it was Neapolitan, this would be the strawberry that I'll eat every now and then. I won't really complain about it because it's still strawberry slash a good tank, but it's just not my favorite style or flavor. Alright, so finally, this map. Well, this map goes along with the weather variant. You can put them in the same category. Small maps at tier 10, mines, Ensk, whatever, what have you. This is, once again, another flavor of ice cream. If you're a heavy tank player, you probably enjoy the small maps because there's probably not a lot of heavy tank players that enjoy Prokhorovka every other game. So keeping an open mind, once again, staying positive, thinking about it. Not only is there a high spectrum of different players that play this game, but there's so many different aspects of the maps, the weather variants. To me, that we can get caught up and hate things in this game, and that's rightfully so. I mean, I'm not telling you that you can't hate these things. I'm just trying to really change your mind on realization that certain people like certain things. But really what it comes down to is we just don't like how our teammates deploy on these maps or variants or use their tanks. And at one point, we were probably newer players that didn't do this stuff correctly. So I'll quit babbling. I know this was a chatty game today, but just want to continue to try to spin some positivity on negative issues, and we'll get back to a regular video tomorrow. So hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.